Join us by the fireside for our evening tales of true life's strange experiences with things that lie beyond the veil of the known and into the misty depths of the mysterious and unknown.
Ghost encounter in the military. I had just finished my basic military training and I got sent for my first duty station. My unit was at NTC for pre deployment training, so I met up with the rear echelon. I get given my room, and I spent 3 very disturbed days and nights in the barracks with incredibly weird stuff happening, like my gear not where I left it, drawers that I'd locked being opened, and the microwave turning itself on and off, and just crap like that. I had a roommate and who I knew throughout the training, and he showed up on the 4th day, and I told him something along the lines of, "Watch your stuff. Someone's been messing with my stuff, and I don't know who it is." So on the 4th night, as it comes around, and my roommate and I secure our room and we put our gear away and we go to bed. I got to get up by about 5:30 for PT, so it's an early night. We locked all our stuff away and we went to bed. Then I woke up around 1 o'clock in the morning because my blanket had fallen to the ground and I was feeling cold. And that's weird because we were in the south in the summer, so it was always hot. I jumped down from my bed and I grabbed my blanket and I noticed that my wardrobe is open. So I open the lock, close it, and then I lock it again and I get back to bed. Then I fell asleep pretty easily, but I woke up again around 2:30 a.m. and all of my stuff and my roommate's stuff had been thrown around the room. I woke up my roommate and he's really pissed because someone is messing with us and we can't figure out who it is and why. We just cleaned up our stuff and we locked our stuff away and we got back to bed. Then I woke up again at 3:37 a.m. and I could feel that we were not alone. My roommate was snoring, so I knew it wasn't him. I sat up and I could see that there was someone in our little kitchen area and the fridge door looked like it was open. I was freezing again. I was about to say something as the soldier turned around. My eyes had a moment to adjust to the bright light, and then I started recognizing gear like, the L shaped flashlight on his shoulder, his Alice pack with magazine holders and canteens, boots and fatigues. This guy was combat ready. As my eyes looked up to his face, he kind of turned a bit, and I could see it. Half his head and helmet were gone. It looked like it had been blown off by the looks of things. I was terrified at this point. He closed the fridge and he walked across the room, keeping his bright green eyes on me. He opened my front door and walked out. As he started walking out, he turned back around and he looked at me and said, "Be safe." I could not sleep the rest of the night and I did not wake my roommate up. I just sat up in bed for about 2 hours until I was ready for the PT at 5:30. At 6:30, everyone is outside the barracks in formation and they're all getting ready to start the PT. And the acting first sergeant says, "Hey, you, are you okay? Looks like you've seen a ghost." I replied with, "Negative, I'm fine, 1SG, good to go." About halfway through PT, he came up to me and asked me what was wrong because I'm visibly shaken up. I told him I was fine, I just couldn't sleep last night. A few others also asked me if I was okay, and I just lied and I said I was fine. I really wasn't, and they could see it. But they let me be. After PT ended, the acting 1SG pulled me to the side and told me to speak freely, openly, and with all confidentiality and off the record. What is wrong? I told him that if I told him what happened, he would think I am crazy. He assured me it was off record and once again said, "Talk to me. You seriously look like you've seen a ghost." That got a strange chuckle out of me, and I began to tell him my story. And when I got to the part about his head, the acting 1SG lost his mind. Who the hell put you up to this? This is not funny, etc., etc. He messed me up for about 30 minutes. He made me do push ups, mountain climbers, stuff like that. And all the while, he was yelling at me that I'm a piece of crap. Finally, after about 30 minutes of that, he says, "Look at me in the eye and swear on everything that you love that you're not lying to me." I told him I was not lying. It happened. So he says, "Follow me." And so I did. We got to the command office, which I had never been in before, and it was obviously locked. He took me behind 3 doors that were locked and 3 rooms I had never set foot in. And when he opened the last door, I saw it. It gave me chills. It gave me chills. But plain as day, there was the picture, the photograph of the soldier behind the commander's desk. I froze and said, "That's him." Acting 1SG, the guy who assigned me that room, told me who it was. The guy was a corporal in the unit on my unit's first deployment to Iraq, and he died in an IED attack that took off part of his head. I was the first soldier to be assigned that room since it belonged to the deceased corporal. He forgave me, and I forgave him, and he told me some stories about who this guy was. I was deployed with that unit just a couple of months later and spent 12 months fighting in that crap hole. I nearly died, I don't know how many times. My vehicle got hit with IEDs and rockets, and it always made me think of that corporal. I have survived things that most people can't even imagine. I always felt like the corporal was keeping an eye out for me. Not every guy in my unit was lucky like me. And there were 3 from my company who didn't even make it home. So I feel like I was watched over. For some reason, he was watching out for me and protecting me. I just really get this strong sense that this is true. Wow, that's a beautiful story. That really just, is really heartwarming, even though it was obviously very frightening to just see this ghost there right in your room with his half his head blown off. But at the same time, it sounds like this guy was still there and he was on some kind of mission to protect you, because so much could have happened and yet you just seem to survive. So there's a reason for everything. Our creepy app. Me and an old best friend, I'll call her Mandy. We had this app on our phones and it picked up certain words. It was really cool, and we didn't believe that it would actually have anything to do with picking up ghosts and the things they were saying. So we had this app and it all started beeping if there's an entity around you. The bar would go from green to red. And you also had a word bank and a camera which is on, so it can pick up the things around you. We were sitting watching TV when Mandy's phone started to beep. It doesn't beep if there's a person or an animal in front of it or anything visibly moving. She looked at her phone and the bar was all the way up to the red. We were sitting about 5 inches apart. Her phone was on the left of her side and mine was on my right. The beeping started to intensify, so we sat there in silence and we turned off the TV. There were no other sounds around in her house. The beeping suddenly stopped, and she got this sentence and it said, "Get out." She looked at me and her eyes were really wide, and I just replied, "Don't worry, we'll be fine." I was, however, skeptical. I did have a small gut feeling that something was wrong, but I just sort of brushed it off. Then my phone started beeping like crazy, and then I got this sentence, "Why are you here?" I was always at Cindy's house. We were inseparable. So you can imagine it was kind of unsettling. The beeping just kept on going after the sentence, and then suddenly it stopped. We decided to just put our phones in between us side by side, and we sat there in silence for a long time. I don't know how long, but it seemed like a long time. Then, and you probably guessed, the meter went up and it started beeping, but this time a caution sign popped up on our screens. And that's when things started to get bad. Our phones picked up the sentence, "Get out," at the same time. The beeping did not stop, and we just sat there and waited to see what would happen. We received another sentence that read, "You need to leave this place." And that's when we just freaked out. I reached for my phone, and when the words "don't" came out of my speaker, I reeled my hand back. In all stupidity, I said, "Why would I listen to you? It's my phone, and this is Mandy's house." I freaked out. Then the beeping stopped. The meters were back to green. And for a couple of minutes, everything just seemed normal, and we thought everything was fine. Then the lights went out, and her dog just started barking like crazy. When I say that this isn't the only encounter we've had since then, I mean it. We stopped saying stupid crap, like I said, but it was still bad. We looked up things about the town and we were given names while using this app. We looked into this and we found multiple names of people. Our town was practically destroyed by a tornado a while ago, and a lot of people died, and some people were injured and later died. We found some of those people listed on our app. This was just so scary. But, it's just one of those things. We just keep moving forward, and I hope nothing else happens now. I'd like to know what app you're talking about that picks up, voices like that, because I don't know what that is. But it sounds really scary, but fascinating too, that, you could pick something up and that this technology could be that sensitive. So, yeah, what a strange experience. But again, I at least, and I hope, nobody was hurt by whatever this entity was or this ghost.